Hello, and welcome to the very special edition of Nobody Looks Good in Orange, my short film that I did. My name is Joe Compton, and I will be providing commentary on this film. So, this is the commentary version. So, if you've never seen this film before, go back and watch it on the same playlist that you got this from, and you'll be able to watch that without me talking, and then come back and watch this if you'd like. If you're interested in knowing what I was thinking and how I was thinking it, and what it was all about. So, with that being said, let's get started. So, this is the opening torture scene of Agent 66, and I kind of decided to start with the end because that's kind of where the trailer ended. So, I'm kind of piggybacking on the trailer and kind of keeping it in a weird linear fashion that way. But this is basically him getting beat up, and then it'll flash into the credits. And when it flashes there, you're kind of in his dream state here. And I kind of, with this first shot of the oranges falling, kind of give it that kind of dream feeling. And so you're kind of in his subconscious remembering these things. This is the opening. Obviously, he was a member of the Bananas, and this is them remembering fondly that time. And then, of course, the most important thing that he remembers about the baby. And then, of course, being accepted into the Bananas organization. This was part of that, all of that. And then, of course, ultimately, the torture, the self torture that he puts himself through with everything. And then, of course, squeezing the orange to kind of get him out of that dream state. And here's the opening credit, and then we go into the first scene, which is him explaining that he's okay. I did this while I was actually laying in my bed, and I did this on my phone. So it kind of gave it that idea that I was in a hotel, though, right, and laying down and just kind of thumbing my nose at people. Um, and this kind of gives you a background of what everything meant, what this was all about. The line coming up that I'll let you hear is actually stolen from Godfather 3, which to me was a very underrated movie, but I like this line.
I'll never find her either, but it's the price I pay for the life I've chosen. To my friend.
Remembering Double O Bananas, JD Estrada there. That's JD Estrada, who does this great series called Double O Bananas, which is the whole catalyst for this thing. I basically went to JD about 3 months before I started these vignettes and said, I've got an idea. And we kind of ping ponged some ideas back and forth to one another. And when we did that, this came out of it. And really, the whole thing blossomed from that. That very first couple episodes was meant for us to go back and forth, and it just never worked out. So I continued the series throughout the year. I stayed committed to it and kind of developed this whole narrative, and that's what you're watching now is this entire narrative. And you're seeing scenes from a lot of the things that we did in the vignettes. This is, of course, the moment in which everything changed, and this is you finally get the answers to why he's after Double O Bananas in the scenes here. He kind of feels like Double O Bananas left him behind to you know take the brunt of this, and so this is all the catalyst of what happens. And of course, none of that is true. As the truth comes out, and he's been kind of force fed some lines. And then this is the scene that I was referring to earlier in the vignette of the Glenn Ross vignette that you saw, I believe, was episode 5 of our of all of the episode vignettes, and I know it's 5. And I do the Glenn Ross speech. This is the scene right after that. So this is him explaining to the people what he really feels and how he really feels about it. And I actually did this for the Glenn Ross thing, and I was going to make this episode 6. But then I thought this kind of gives a lot away, and so I cut it. Also, I cut it from the Glenn Ross thing, obviously, because I wanted, that was so long. That was the longest vignette I did. It was almost 7 minutes long, and so this is equally as long, and I didn't want to have a back-to-back long one. I wanted to keep them short again and get them back to on track. And then, of course, this explains a lot too in this vignette. So I thought this would be perfect for the short film, and so I kept it for that purpose. I added the overlays of the film and everything like that, so you get that flashback feel. And of course, this is the people that they hired. If you remember back in episode 8 of the vignettes, they go into a garage and they present some money. This is the guy that they present money to, and it is actually the same guy. Believe it or not, I got lucky, and I didn't even remember that I did that vignette with that guy, and it was actually the same guy because I did the same. I used the same uh, round of videos for that, and then of course this is me waking up from the torture that you saw at the very beginning, and the great Rebekah Jonesy reprising her role as agent director. She was awesome. She did all this without me around. She just recorded it, sent it to me, and then of course I cut it into everything that we did here. So this was all her. She did a lot of improv in this. She cleaned up a lot of what I wanted and presented something that was perfect for this. And so I couldn't thank her enough for that. You see, you never really did own me. Yeah, that's the gist of this whole movie right here. This is one of my favorite things that I did. Uh, this is the last thing I did too. This is the last thing I've ever shot for this series. Fostering my hate and fueling my anger, just having me guided in a direction. Yeah, that's not. And of course, the banana signifies, the spiritual aspect of what we do and who we are, and you can't change who you are, kind of thing. And so he's always been a member of the Bananas family. He just denied it.
We'll hunt you down, find you,
Do your best.
and then make life hell.
And so
You will work.
that was kind of signifying that he kind of found himself, or at least he thinks he has. And thus he's not afraid anymore, and he can walk away. Yes, that is my underwear. You can see me if you go back. You can see my underwear sticking out of the back of my pants. Nothing I could do about that. I had to make the camera static for that. So, of course, this is me leaving the orange behind to show, signify that I've left that life behind. And then, this is the remembrance of, what they're all about, and me kind of declaring the last bit here of, finding myself as Agent 66, that is. And using all these great vignettes. These were all provided through WeVideo, which is the system that I use online. It's an online video editor. But maybe, just maybe, in the next one. And I realized that this last shot, that these two people, you don't really ever see anywhere other than the shot. But I just thought it was the perfect shot. And then, of course, this is the credits, but you'll see here, this is my tribute to Cheers Mama Estrada, who I'm, my dear friend JD Estrada's mother, who passed away last year. And, she was a big fan of ours, and I couldn't thank her enough for all her support and all of your support as well. Thanks for watching, guys. That was me talking about the short film. I hope you got some insight and got some idea of, what I did and how I did it. And hope you enjoyed the film. Let me know in the comments. I would really love to hear from you. All right, guys. Well, as you know, it's always time to go indie now. And we'll be back soon with some more programming. But until then, thanks.